What's going on, gamers? Back in action over here. Internet just came back. And we got an interesting clip here about Digital Foundry slamming Microsoft, saying that their layoffs don't make sense and that they're greedy, which I 100% agree with. And a lot of people saying this is worse than the PlayStation physical ending disc production, because this is actually affecting people's real lives and their job. They got families and stuff. This is stuff that's happening right now. We still got to 2028 to see what happens with that, but of course keep fighting for that because that's getting crazy. But the interesting thing here is we found out something else. Microsoft literally has killed the Doom studio. They lost over 50% of their staff recently, and maybe a little bit more. So you can basically look at that as almost a shutdown of that Doom team. It was correct about the post that was happening at ID Software, and Obsidian is in trouble. Christopher Dring was telling the truth. So the people that was attacking him over that, you're all wrong. Yeah, right? Learn to admit when you're wrong. So in this clip right here for 2 minutes and 11 seconds posted by James, because there isn't any other one, Digital Foundry gives their analysis. They're also basically saying Xbox HELIX, what's the point? I kind of feel like Xbox HELIX is dead on arrival, and I've been trying to tell people that for a while, but Xbox fanboys can't, notice the obvious. I don't see the point of the HELIX in this current market, with Satya telling you that I'm not going to subsidize for you. And if he's not going to subsidize for you, and it's going to be a premium experience, and you think that you want them to add a physical format, that's going to cost you even more money. You're looking at minimum $1,600 to $2,000 or something like that. $1,500 if you get lucky. Even then, what console gamer is thinking about paying for that type of price? Nobody in the console space, never in the history of gaming, because the most expensive console launch of all time in the Xbox world was the Series X, but it was a good deal for $500. Now we see where it's at right now. So you're thinking about a launch of a product that literally has no identity. Game Pass failed. Publishing is already not doing what they wanted it to do. Hardware is dead in the water. The brand is dead in the water. Studios are getting shut down big time, right? Everything about the Xbox brand and image is at the lowest point of all time, and they're trying to make more money back. So launching the HELIX, to me, I don't get the point, because it's not going to sell. You don't have any exclusives either, and you can't play that game, because how are you going to get that money back? They're not subsidizing. So it seems to me, like I said, dead on arrival, and I agree with what he said. HELIX is a ticking time bomb. What is the point here? So let's get into this. Become a member. Leave a tip down below. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's see what they have to say. Here we go.
They've taken an axe to things, and these are cuts made by people that have no idea how these studios actually run and what they do.
Exactly.
And I've talked to people about this, and like the word I have from people at these studios is that the cuts made don't make sense.
See what he just said? Because Asha coming in and doing what she's doing, along with Satya, they don't understand the gaming industry like that. They don't have the knowledge and the wisdom Phil Spencer had to know how to build those studios, get them and understand how gaming works, traveling around to Japan, traveling over to all other development departments around the world, and actually know what it means to develop and program a video game and what it means to understand publishers and developers. Phil Spencer had that type of expertise, though he made some mistakes in a competition sense, but he understands gaming. They don't understand any of this, and they're going in and doing things based off of what probably some people are telling them, but they don't have the foundational understanding. Like Charlene said, you don't have basic common sense and understanding of the gaming industry. You lack basic understanding. And the people that are left over there now, Asha and Satya, they're not gamers. They don't know not much about gaming. They just learned about the way the business can work to make more money or to try to do all these other facets. And we saw everything that he's been trying. It's been him the whole time, and look at it, it's getting worse. He doesn't know what he's doing. And because he's made his mistakes, now other people are suffering for that. And you got studios like ID Software, you got the Doom team getting crapped on. Obsidian got a bunch of layoffs too. And we're going to take a look at that here in a second. So let's keep going. I get what he's saying. You don't know what you're doing.
They are not well thought out. They don't allow the studios to function correctly after the cuts. They are making stupid cuts. This is a pure numbers game from somebody that doesn't know what they're doing.
Ooh, John is calling them out big time. And that's what I'm saying. Like, why do you think you heard about decisions of going back and forth and, oh, they might have been laid off? No, I don't try to go back because they're doing this. I told you it's this. And then it's this. Because you don't know what you're doing. So now I'm just all over the place. You know what I mean? And it's been like that in the Xbox world for a while. And now we kind of get the idea here. He's getting inside conversations from people over in those Xbox studios, and they're telling him this. What they're doing doesn't make any sense. They don't know what they're doing. They don't. Everybody's known this for a while. Michael Pachter said it.
And I think it's going to backfire.
There's one more statistic within Ash's email there, which is kind of telling, which is that 80% of Xbox is the console business. And that's a problem, right? Because they've spent so much time and effort in expanding into PC. If 80% of your core business is console related, I can't see anything within this that is going to actually improve their stance in the console space. And they're still facing the upcoming time bomb with Project Helix, where every leak about that console suggests, and in fact, Microsoft itself has officially said it's a premium experience, and the leaked specs suggest a premium console. You know, I combine that with this. I don't understand how this reset is going to be able to change much. Seems to be that the audience for that particular console has been dwindling gen on gen. I mean, I don't understand what the future is. And this, you brought up the thing earlier, John, about 1 billion daily users for Xbox. There's 8 billion people in the world. The concept of 1 of every 8 people across the world interacting with Xbox on a daily basis is like, you know, it's kind of Emperor's New Clothes stuff, isn't it? It's kind of just patently ridiculous.
Exactly. It's a bunch of nonsense. The biggest install-based interactions across the world are Nintendo, PlayStation, and Steam. Xbox is dead in the water. You don't even come close to that many people. They're so fake. Like, it's like just stop with the fake stuff. It's so annoying, and it's all empty nonsense. It literally is not even close to that. You don't even have 100 million. It's fraudulent statements, PR, nonsense, big, bloated, empty nothing, soulless talk. Like, get out of here with that. And like he said, this Xbox reset is not really a reset. Seems like you're getting ready to sell something or just have left what you want to make a bunch of money. But that doesn't mean that you're improving gaming. You're just setting it up, like he said, as a numbers game to make yourself that money back. That's all it is. But when it comes to actually benefiting gaming, helping gaming grow and do all that, no. You're just taking what you monopolized on and whatever's most useful for you to make that money back. And whatever you don't want, you discard it, even if it is great talent. That's exactly what's going on here. And it's not that hard to see. This is what happens when you have certain corporations and certain entities getting their hands on the gaming that don't understand anything about gaming and are not gaming oriented at all. You can look at their background, you can look at their life style, you can look at everything and say, you're not a gamer, what are you doing here? Bobby Kotick told Satya that. Then he hires all these AI people because he's setting up a future without Xbox. And the Xbox fanboys can't see that. This is not anything new. They could ever see anything the past decade plus. They just fall for all that parrot PR and adjust. You saw that with the flip-flopping and exclusives too. It was really bad. And the third-party publishing pushing. And it has changed all over the place. It's like, yeah, you're doing that because you don't have no stability and you don't have a solid foundation. Just admit it. You just follow around Microsoft and parrot and get brainwashed and listen to the parasocial behavior. And then when somebody tries to open your eyes and tell you the truth, you go and attack them. The people that can actually give Microsoft the constructive criticism that they need to improve. But then when they do that, you start to realize that the company just doesn't care. They just want their money back. And they're never going to subsidize for you again. And that it's over. And that Xbox is just done in that sense. And is that hard for you to accept? You know how many people in the Sega world had to accept that? But they didn't have billions and billions or $1 trillion company money pool that they were sitting on. They literally had to adjust to survive. Microsoft doesn't have to do that. They just need to get rid of Xbox and get their money back. That's exactly what they want to do. I'm telling you. It's not that hard to see.
What's the strategy there? I just don't get it.
Yeah.
All of this stuff, it seems to be about sort of gaming the numbers as opposed to actually coming up with a sustainable strategy.
Exactly.
I'm just kind of sort of shocked by it all.
Yeah, it's not that hard to realize. And that's what we're talking about. It's like, he's shocked because he was like, you're saying a reset. You're saying you want to make Xbox #1 by 2030. Remember all this stuff that Usher was saying? I was like, man, this is all a bunch of nonsense. But really, that's not what you're doing. You're just sweet talking people and trying to make them feel comfortable as you do something like this bloodbath. And it's affecting people right now, how they're living, how they're getting paid, their families. Physical disc India is now affecting family homes and all of that. That's what I'm saying. And you don't even know the true result of that till we get to 2028. That's what I try to tell people. Are you out of your mind if you think everything that Microsoft is doing, the bloodbath, Almost 6,000 people laid off across Microsoft. Is you think that what Sony's doing is worse than that when it comes to affecting people's living conditions in real life, how expensive everything in this world is right now? If you think that, then I can't take you serious. Because like I said, that's not even in effect yet. We're still fighting against that. It's not a reality that hit yet. You have to wait to see how that plays out. This is a reality that's happening right now. And they told you this is only 50% of it. It's going to be going all the way to fiscal year 2027. Literally. Going down. Little BC says, like I said, everybody can criticize and critique, but nobody can give an answer to how to fix it. They're already given answers. They already tried every path that you could possibly try. They just went back and flip-flopped. And now they're saying they're not subsidizing. You should have never went back to exclusives. Your best bet was the way Phil Spencer had it. You can't go anywhere else. Like, it's like, because everything else was already tried. So we get that idea right there. Now, going back, here's what we're talking about here. More details are emerging about Xbox's latest layoffs, where two of its biggest studios hit hard. Reports say ID Software has lost most, if not all, of its programming team, and Doom: The Dark Ages Revelations launches today. The DLC launches today while that's happening. While Microsoft was advertising things, then all of a sudden you see that the studio is just not there. They're doing the same thing again. How many times have they done this? Let's say the Xbox Game Showcase. What was the point? Yeah, I mean, it was scheming, right? At Obsidian Entertainment, around 60 to 70 developers were laid off across programming, design, art, QA, production, and writing. I think there's something wrong with this company. But the Doom team has been amazing for a long time, and they always score high and well is also. But ever since they got with Microsoft, something has happened because you put everything on Game Pass. You hurt their metrics. But that team is still very talented. But guess what, though? They still go and gut the team. He said they lost most of their programming team. There was a post made by somebody too talking about it. We can get to that here too. Several developers, including some of those with over 20 years of Obsidian experience, over 20 years of experience, confirmed they were affected. Irada says Obsidian devs deserved it. Bunch of woke activists masquerading as devs. But ID Software, or id Software, they execute well and their products sell. I wonder what happened here. That's the thing. Like, I'm not going to even say anything about that. But when we talk about id Software specifically, it's like, what is wrong here? They're very talented, right? But Microsoft doesn't care, because what Microsoft wants is 15 Call of Duty numbers, 15 million, 10 million Call of Duty numbers. If they're not seeing that, then they don't care, even if it's talent. So this tells you that it's not a gaming company. It's a company that's trying to number crunch and get its money. Remember I used to tell you, give me back my money? I tried to tell you. AGN's been telling you this for a long time. Nobody was listening to AGN. Now you understand what I'm talking about. It was right there in front of your face. Simon says, so what's the main reason for the layoffs then? Getting canned after 20 years is a slap in the face. Sucks It Games is losing staff, but it's not the same staff that made the original Quake or Doom. I have zero sympathy for Obsidian Games, though. They can enjoy their fate. A lot of people are going to say that. Sacking id staff is a bit puzzling. It's almost like what Sony did to Blueprint. What are you doing? They're the only one putting out good games. Yeah, the problem with Dark Ages is the design problem. They should have stuck with the formula that made Doom 2016 a banger. Yeah, but the talent is still there. It still was a good game. I loved it. But I beat the whole game without even dying. On that note, I find it funny that they claim to want to push more Doom, Quake, and Wolfenstein, and then proceed to immediately cut most of their staff. That's what they did. So it's a bloodbath. Like Jason was saying, those guys were correct. Get ready, a bloodbath's about to happen. And 1,600 more are going to be getting laid off for the rest of the year, all the way into 2027 fiscal. They told you that. Get ready. 1,600 more. Just what they're telling you right now. Imagine if they want to cut off even more over time. I'm telling you, this company is the worst when it comes to gaming, because they're just destroying developers that were amazing since the 90s, ever since they got with them. There's a legacy of gaming that's being destroyed here all over, even what Sony's trying to do with the physical media, if that ends up going through. And this stuff goes all the way back to the 90s. Microsoft stuff is in effect right now, and it's been in effect nonstop. PlayStation's, hopefully they can reverse it. Hopefully you guys do enough damage, all of us together, to get that to happen. But right now, the damage that Microsoft is doing is damage to your health in an RPG. Like, it's going down. They're attacking it. What Sony has done, they have not affected anybody yet. They told you this 2 years in advance. Do you see the difference here? That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. We need to get on Microsoft's case and still stay on it. But at the end of the day, I mean, they've already killed off most of Xbox. What else can you really do, Microsoft? Besides just hold on to the mega giant IPs and get obvious profit, like you did anything to help them build up anyways. No, you monopolized them to put your title over it as a publisher. You see what I mean? But they actually failed so bad. They have the biggest failure in gaming history by a mile, and it doesn't even come close. Sega did not come anywhere near close to failing like this. They just couldn't have their console fail. That's why they had to get out and continue being a publisher and a developer. Well, Microsoft can do that and still has trillions of dollars and then grabbed 100 billion. You see what I mean? Sega couldn't do that. Sega is way better than Microsoft. They just didn't have the money and were in a bad position. They had the talent. They had the games. They got screwed over. Of course, you know how the way Sony does things was not good. The way EA screwed Sega over was not good. If you guys don't know the history, you should go read that. But Sega is capable. It's not like they kill development teams and destroy the gaming industry. That's not what happened. There's a big difference between Sega and Microsoft in that sense. And that's where we need to evaluate things more honestly here. You see what I'm saying? Where it's like, if you look in the Xbox world, it's nothing like that. They just destroy gaming and don't care about it. And now we got people taking over that have nothing to do with gaming. Sega has never been like that. It's always been a gaming company. They just couldn't sell like Nintendo and PlayStation. They got kind of screwed over big time. And a lot of people pirated the Dreamcast. But it's still memorable and people still love it. You see, there's a difference here. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think. Slim says greed is a very sick disease. Billions of buying studios and IPs just to let it go into the waste. What an effing shit show or clown show. That's what Jeff Grubb was saying. See, Jeff Grubb wasn't lying. Neither was Christopher Dring. This guy says, Jesus, ID Tech team is one of the best in the industry, and they just threw them away like that. F Microsoft, what an awful effing decision. I agree. So we kind of get the idea here. Like, comment, and subscribe. Leave a tip down below. Hit that hype button. Let me know what you guys think. Crazy.